It's confirmed. Meghan Markle has gone into complete getaway mode following weeks of intense public criticism, growing scrutiny from Parliament, and a brutal South Park episode that mocked her worldwide. The Duchess of Sussex has allegedly gathered her belongings and made a bold move directly to Dubai.
2 million views. So they're sitting there in Montecito thinking, hang on a minute, we're actually getting a viral video.
Yep, Dubai, the billionaire's paradise. No paparazzi swarming, no tense encounters with royals, just luxurious quiet and a golden opportunity to rebrand herself far, far from the chaos she played a part in sparking. But let's backtrack, because this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment getaway. Meghan didn't leave Los Angeles for a relaxing spa escape. She bolted, and the timing couldn't be more telling, just days ahead of
buzzing after Meghan Markle sent a gift to a friend using her former title, Her Royal Highness, despite the fact
British lawmakers had finally drawn the line. The House of Lords, the very institution rooted in centuries of royal heritage, took concrete steps to officially revoke Harry and Meghan's Duke and Duchess titles. And this wasn't just a symbolic gesture, it was a serious legislative blow aimed at a couple who had transformed royal privilege into a Hollywood side gig.
Being able to be that person with the people that I love. So, worthiness, maybe part of worthiness comes when you stop having.
Unfiltered and brutal in its satire, the episode roasted Meghan and Harry's so-called global privacy tour with such pinpoint accuracy that it genuinely hit a nerve. The exaggerated characters, the mocking voiceovers, and the sharp digs at their perceived hypocrisy and monetization of personal struggles painted them as attention-chasing opportunists, and millions laughed, even many who once supported them. Now there's Meghan, seated behind podcast mics, trying to project rawness and authenticity. No script, no glam, just her real self. But let's be honest, it came off anything but genuine. The lighting was flawless, the message overly polished, and the emotional exposure felt like it had been pre-approved by a PR team. Meanwhile, the UK public has moved on. Recent polling shows a strong majority backing the King and Prince William. The frustration isn't about Meghan stepping away from royal duties, it's about her continued attempts to capitalize on them. She's still using her HRH title like a branding tool, still injecting royal flair into her content and products, still channeling Duchess vibes in a space where she no longer represents the monarchy.
The Queen, the late Queen Elizabeth, new
and here's the spicy part. Buckingham Palace had warned them. Queen Elizabeth, before her passing, made it absolutely clear. If you walk away, you leave the benefits behind. No titles, no royal branding, no part-time monarchy privileges. Meghan nodded in agreement, but then carried on as she pleased. Enter Prince William. Calm, calculated, but reportedly ruthless when provoked. Insiders say he's now backing official efforts to permanently remove Meghan and Harry's HRH status. The gloves are off, and this time the monarchy isn't bothering with diplomacy. Meanwhile, Meghan's Instagram is a curated highlight reel. Soft focus snaps from Beyoncé concerts, smiling, dancing, crafting captions like she's just another influencer riding the algorithm. But those flawless photos, the designer outfits, the glam hair, none of it screamed relatable mother. It screamed, I'm still in the game. And when people looked closer, they discovered Meghan and Harry weren't even Beyoncé's personal guests. Sources say they were +1s of Paramount executive Brian Robbins and his wife. So much for A-list access. All while Harry was being mocked on national TV over his failed BBC interview, where he basically pleaded for UK taxpayer-funded security. The optics. Awful. The prince who exited the royal system for personal freedom now asking for government protection from a country he no longer officially serves. And as Harry's last royal ties fray, Meghan's out here grinning at a VIP concert like nothing's falling apart. The disconnect was glaring, and the backlash immediate. Fans and critics alike saw it for what it was, image management. Meghan's not enduring the storm quietly, she's trying to reframe it. She doesn't want to escape the spotlight. She wants to control it. But beneath the glossy photos and scripted vulnerability, the structure is cracking. Parliament's not just floating the idea of title removal anymore, they're actively discussing the process. Petitions are building steam, MPs are lining up, and Buckingham Palace is staying quiet, and when the palace goes silent, that silence speaks volumes. Intro 6. Even the tabloids have taken a back seat. This time, it's the public leading the backlash. The very same public that once viewed Meghan as a refreshing force, a modern-day princess who could usher the monarchy into the 21st century, is now labeling her as manipulative, performative, and downright exhausting. And Harry isn't dodging the fallout either. Parliament's scrutiny isn't limited to Meghan. They're going after him as well. His recent BBC interview only made things worse, exposing how out of touch, entitled, and unaware he truly seems. This isn't tabloid drama anymore. It's a full-scale constitutional reckoning. When two former royals spend years publicly criticizing the very institution that elevated them, while still leveraging its name for relevance, it's only a matter of time before the monarchy responds. Then came the Luxury Mother's Day post. Once again, Meghan skipped the quiet, intimate family moment in favor of a professionally polished Instagram rollout, complete with poetic captions, perfect lighting, and children posed like elements of a marketing campaign. No one questioned her love as a mother. They questioned why every personal milestone is packaged like a brand launch. Because when you claim to want privacy but operate like a luxury lifestyle label in full view of the public, eventually, people start to call out the contradiction.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement. They are very dependent on each other.
And when people start paying attention, they remember the promises, the speeches about Africa, the vows to uplift women, the talk of driving real change. But years later, where's the impact? The causes have gone quiet, the charities once championed now ignored. Even Sabal, a women's organization they publicly supported, was reportedly dropped after behind-the-scenes tensions. For Meghan and Harry, activism appears more tied to optics than action. When the spotlight's favorable, they're front and center. When things turn complicated, they vanish. And now Dubai, far from Los Angeles, far from Parliament, far from the UK headlines collapsing around them. A soft landing in a city where fame is currency and privacy is purchasable. Some say she's there for investor meetings, others claim she's negotiating brand deals in the Middle East. But no one's buying that this is just a vacation. Not after the South Park backlash, not after the House of Lords stepped in. This isn't a break, it's a strategic retreat. Whether Meghan is quietly planning a rebrand or laying the groundwork for a relaunch, one thing is certain: Britain doesn't want her back, and the royal family seems ready to make that permanent. But the harshest blow didn't come from Buckingham Palace or the press. It came from South Park. Yes, the animated satire juggernaut known for roasting celebrities from Tom Cruise to Kanye turned its unfiltered lens on Harry and Meghan, and didn't hold back. It was loud, sharp, and unapologetically vicious. The couple was mocked as the Prince and Princess of Canada, dragging bags of money and waving a banner that read, "We want our privacy," all while gleefully promoting themselves on book tours, Netflix specials, and talk shows. The message wasn't subtle. You can't demand privacy while launching fireworks every time you walk in the room. Reportedly, Meghan was furious, labeling the episode racist, sexist, misogynistic, throwing every accusation at the wall. But this time, the world didn't rally around her. Because when South Park targets you for hypocrisy, it usually means the public is done laughing with you, and has started laughing at you. Even once loyal fans started to murmur that dreaded word, overexposed. And after the dust settled, Meghan Markle simply vanished. No statements, no podcasts, no appearances, just radio silence. No Instagram posts, no podcast clips, no casual paparazzi walks. It was like Meghan vanished into thin air. And then, out of nowhere, boom, Dubai. That's right. Insiders say Meghan fled to the UAE just days after the South Park controversy hit its peak. Private jet, luxury resort, no public appearances, just discreet showings at invite-only events. One of them? A sustainability panel closed off to media, packed with billionaires and royals. Because in Dubai, your Hollywood baggage doesn't matter. There, Meghan isn't a disgraced duchess or a punchline. She's a global celebrity mingling with influencers, financiers, and Middle Eastern elites who couldn't care less what British lawmakers are up to. But let's be real, this wasn't some relaxing vacation. It was a calculated retreat, a quiet PR recovery mission dressed up as a wellness escape. And it tracks. After being roasted by comedians, scrutinized by Parliament, and dropped by much of her fanbase, Meghan is doing what many celebrities in crisis do, disappear and regroup. But the strategy is unraveling fast. Because just as she touched down in Dubai, the title-stripping effort in the UK picked up serious momentum. What started as outrage on Twitter and a few Piers Morgan rants is now moving through actual legislation. Members of Parliament are actively backing moves to strip Harry and Meghan of their remaining royal titles, starting with Duke and Duchess. And it's not just a ceremonial loss. That title opens doors, earns six-figure speaking gigs, and gives legitimacy to everything from their Archetypes podcast to the Archewell Foundation. Without it, they're not royal rebels. They're just another rich couple with a tabloid history and a cancelled Spotify deal. So as Meghan soaks up the Dubai sun, the pressure is rising. Even Hollywood, their supposed safe space, is cooling off. A-listers have stopped including them in the inner circle, and studio execs are reportedly labeling them as risky. Meghan's new lifestyle brand is struggling to land partnerships, with potential collaborators wary of aligning with a duchess who might not be one for much longer. And those Nigerian royal invites? Even those are drawing heat, with critics calling it a self-serving PR tour disguised as charity. Insiders say Meghan's UAE trip isn't just a hideout, it's a business mission. Meetings with fashion moguls, quiet talks with media backers. She's trying to pivot from royal controversy to global influencer. But the public's not buying it. Sentiment is shifting fast. You can only play the victim so many times before people start asking, wait, aren't you part of the problem? The headlines have flipped, from flattering to skeptical. Meghan Markle hiding in Dubai after South Park meltdown, one reads. Ex-royals run out of Royal Road, says another. Even Prince William, who's remained mostly silent, is reportedly furious, not just at Meghan's continued use of HRH, but at Harry's refusal to step away. According to palace insiders, William feels betrayed again and is urging King Charles to finally cut ties. No more part-time royalty. You want independence? You've got it, but don't come knocking when the Netflix deals dry up. And let's talk about King Charles. Many assumed he'd go easy. After all, he's the dad, the peacekeeper. But after being ambushed by Omid Scobie's endgame and portrayed as a racist grandfather, sources say Charles has had enough. Behind palace doors, things are getting serious. Royal aides are drafting legal strategies, constitutional advisors are exploring formal options, and rumors swirl that an official Buckingham Palace statement is on the horizon. One that could mark the end of Meghan and Harry's official royal status. And Meghan knows it, which is why she's in no rush to return to California. What's waiting there? A media circus, a husband with tanking public favor, a failed podcast brand, and a nation that's largely moved on. Dubai, in contrast, is distraction, glamour, luxury, and a clean slate. A place where no one calls her Duchess of Drama. But even in Dubai, whispers follow. At a recent gala, guests reportedly overheard Meghan venting to a UAE philanthropist about the unfair treatment she's received, insisting she's done everything right and the media just won't give her a break. That's the narrative she wants to push, that she's a misunderstood outsider trying to raise her kids, build a business, and make a difference while the world tears her down. But the hard truth? You can only blame the media for so long before people start blaming you. When every photo looks staged, when every cause is quietly dropped, when every interview circles back to your own struggles, it stops being inspirational, it starts sounding like a brand strategy. And while Meghan's sipping mocktails in a five-star cabana, over in Westminster, her royal identity is being debated, by lawmakers, not tabloids. These are people with real authority, and they're done playing games. Because this isn't just about titles anymore, it's about integrity. It's about whether someone should keep royal privilege without royal duty. And as that decision draws closer, Meghan may realize the desert sun can't erase a reputation that's already scorched. Meanwhile, Harry isn't helping. As she hides out in opulence, he's out making missteps that even his PR team can't clean up. His latest attempt at public sympathy? Another media blunder that blew up like a royal Range Rover in a ditch. Without their royal labels, Meghan and Harry would be just another wealthy duo losing relevance. If lawmakers follow through and the king signs off, they'll be stripped of the titles that gave their brand global influence. No more Duke and Duchess. No more royal clout behind Netflix deals or podcast intros. Without those names, the paychecks shrink, the rooms go quiet, and the spotlight dims. Because let's face it, without that royal edge, what exactly is Meghan offering? A lifestyle brand? Maybe. A comeback story? Possibly. But a long-term legacy? That's the gamble she made, and what's slipping away fast. Her Dubai trip might have looked luxurious on the surface. Private jets, 5-star resorts, secretive meetings, but underneath, it's a strategic retreat. A last-minute effort to outrun a system she once tried to challenge, and a monarchy that finally said enough. The royal family rarely speaks publicly, but when they do, it's definitive. And if they move forward, Meghan won't just lose a title, she'll lose the very identity that powered her post-palace fame. The crown made her a worldwide figure. Now, it could all be taken back. Back home in California, reality is setting in. Their Montecito estate is extravagant but expensive and increasingly disconnected from the elite circles they used to be part of. The Obamas have stepped away. The Clooneys are silent. Even Oprah, once their biggest US supporter, has backed off. Her team is reportedly freezing joint projects until the chaos dies down. But the chaos keeps building. Meghan's podcast relaunch was all style, little substance. The visuals were flawless, but the message lacked clarity. She wants to seem down to earth, yet every detail feels staged. She wants to relate to everyday women, but her luxury wardrobe sends a different message. The public sees the mixed signals, and they're no longer buying it. Meanwhile, Princess Kate, despite personal health issues, has kept a steady, graceful presence. No tell-all interviews, no dramatics, just duty and dignity. The public has noticed. Her approval ratings are climbing while Meghan's are falling, especially among the same young women who once supported her. That's got to sting. Meghan was meant to modernize the monarchy, to be a trailblazer. But in trying to rewrite the narrative, she may have unintentionally unraveled her own. And no matter how shiny Dubai looks, it won't fix that. It's a temporary solution for a long-term brand problem. People don't believe the storyline anymore. Meghan's time in Dubai wasn't for rest, it was for reinvention. Sources say she held quiet meetings with European and Asian business execs, likely building the foundation for a luxury wellness empire, something between Gwyneth Paltrow and Sheikha Moza. But there's a catch. You can't launch a clean image when your name causes controversy across the globe. And Meghan knows that. She's watched deals dissolve, collaborations stall, and investor confidence disappear. Even Spotify, which once signed them for $25 million, ended things quietly, reportedly labeling the couple grifters behind closed doors. Her dream of becoming the next Oprah is fading fast. When South Park mocks you, when politicians strip your titles, and your content flops, you don't look like a media mogul, you look like a cautionary tale. That's why Dubai made sense. It's not just peace and luxury, it's a reset. In the UAE, no one cares about UK royal drama. They care about power, image, and marketability. There, Meghan's not a royal reject, she's an international influencer. But even that role is fragile. While she's trying to rebrand in the Middle East, Harry's pulling them right back into the fire. His recent BBC appearance, meant to rebuild public trust, completely backfired. Instead of empathy, he gave entitlement. He insisted he still deserved government-paid protection, despite leaving the UK, cutting royal ties, and cashing in on palace secrets. The public response? Harsh. Critics slammed him, viewers were unimpressed, and even BBC hosts asked the obvious. Why should taxpayers fund your security while you sue the very system you abandoned? This came just after Parliament publicly debated cutting all official Sussex ties. So while Meghan lounges in a private villa abroad, Harry is left under a harsh spotlight. What was supposed to be a redemption moment only highlighted how out of touch he still is. And Meghan, watching it all unfold from a distance, is reportedly upset, not just with the media, but with Harry himself. Insiders say there's growing tension. She's trying to lead a calm, polished rebrand focused on wellness and femininity. But Harry keeps pulling them back into political chaos. It's history repeating itself. When she launched Archetypes, her polished podcast on gender, Harry dropped Spare and blew up any goodwill she'd built. Now it's happening again. She's pivoting, he's ranting. And it's costing them both.